The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Kansas City, A Domain Divided. I am, of course, the storyteller, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Mama McStabber, and I'll be playing Katarina Rakosi of Clan Zemitzi.
I'm Dale, and I'll be playing Callum McFarlane, Clan Ventru.
I'm Ree, and I'll be playing Rashad Giovanni of the Hakata.
Hi, I'm Mischievous Red, and I'll be playing Gwen Schultz of the Ministry.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 1, Episode 3 of Kansas City. Of course, just like our Dark Ages game, tonight, this is simulcast to both Twitch and YouTube. So, for our Twitch viewers, hello, good evening, and for our YouTube viewers, hello and good evening. Of course, when we were last with this brand new coterie of vampires, well, they met with the prince, and not just met with the prince, they helped him at a mission, serving food to the homeless. And then afterwards, they met a very polite individual that goes by the name of Hideo. Now, where we're going to pick up tonight, it's been about 2 days since we were last with this group. Callum and Rashad have arranged a meeting with Victoria, as well as Katarina and Gwen have arranged a meeting with Counselor of the Fold, Christabella Black. But we're actually going to open up with Callum and Rashad. Victoria has asked you to meet her outside the National World War I Museum and Memorial here in Kansas City. It is not in Elysia, but it's right next to the Elysia. It's right next to the Science City Elysia, as a matter of fact. Are you two riding together, or are you going to take separate vehicles? That's my first question.
Together, I'd say.
Yeah, I would suggest we ride together.
Okay, so the first thing I've got to ask you is to roll wits awareness. Because you're riding in a car together. I need you to roll those wits awareness things. Yeah, get ready. To do that pretty much almost every time I can remember to remind you while you're in a car to roll that wits awareness. Because, nice roll, Rashad. You starting strong with a 5. 5 on 6 dice is pretty good. Callum gets 3 on 4 dice. Look at this. I'm going to keep that in mind for while you're moving about. I'm going to use that roll lest things drastically change for the events of the scene. I will turn it over to you two as you're riding in the car in case you need to talk about anything before you arrive at the memorial. She did say she'd meet you out front of the World War I memorial.
All right. We probably would have met up at our coterie haven. Rashad, do you want to drive or you want me to drive?
I don't have much experience driving, so you don't mind.
Okay.
I'm also better if I can keep my eyes all over the place.
You might chuckle to yourself as I get into a very small, unassuming two-door hatchback.
I admit this isn't what I'd have expected from you, but it makes sense, I guess. We're being very stealthy tonight.
And I've had to put a lot of money into the haven. It was in a horrible state.
By choice?
Well, you'll see when you come by. The location is a little bit out of the way, closer to the restaurant, between here and the restaurant.
Is it secure?
It is secure, and it's a beautiful old German design building that someone has let go, and I'm trying to repair that.
All right. I will stop by whenever time permits.
Well,
I admit I don't know much about how all of this is going to work, but if we're outside of an Elysia, does that count as being in one, or do I need to worry about bringing weapons with us on this trip, or am I okay?
I will tell you, that's not Elysia, but it's very close to the Kansas line. So it's pretty far from their actual territory.
But you said we were going to a location next to Elysia.
Yes, the World War I memorial. It is
Okay.
right next to the Science City there at Union Station. So you're not far from it. But it's not Elysia. The protections aren't applied, nor are the restrictions on discipline or weapon use.
I am carrying a pistol.
All right. Well, is there anything I should know before meeting with members of your clan?
I would say just be yourself, but mind the traditions and show the proper respect. And I feel just because of the progressiveness of this city under the prince that best to show the proper respect.
So now that the others aren't around, do you truly agree with this more progressive approach to running things?
Honestly, I'm still getting accustomed to all the politics, and I am intrigued by how he appears to run the homeowners association here. And as the president, I will follow. I'll support the tower. I'm in a wait and see mode right now.
Does it bother you to see so many, or to hear about so many lower clans, I guess? I even hear the thin-blooded are around, are accepted.
I would say from my tutelage that my sire and her sire would probably want me to be more disturbed than I am. But again, the president has been very successful, obviously, and I would like to see exactly how this operation runs.
Very well. Are there anything? Oh, I suppose that's better to just wait and see. Have you ever fought this bot before or met with any of them?
I have not. I think I have been shielded a bit because of my youth and how things operated in Chicago.
Are you afraid of them?
Not afraid, just wary.
Suppose that's wise.
As you're
What do you
pulling
think
up,
about this date?
you have time to finish your conversation in the car, but you're pulling up to the memorial. And the museum is closed at this hour, but you can still go on the grounds to the larger obelisk that stands as tribute. I'll let you finish your conversation, but when you're ready, you've pulled up and parked, so you can get out of the car when you're ready.
All right. Well, let's see how this goes.
Rashad, just know that you are my family now, and I have your back.
I've got you as well, to the best of my abilities.
Very well. Let's go see how this goes.
As you set out from your car, walking along the stone paths that lead up to obelisk, you can see Victoria. As soon as you get in full sight of the obelisk, she's standing in front of it. It's obviously her, but tonight she's wearing blue jeans, seems kind of odd, and a loose-fitting blouse. But as you're approaching, she's talking on the phone as you get closer to her. And you catch just the tail end of part of a conversation. Yeah, I'll make sure that gets done. My meeting's here, so I've got to run. Yep. Yeah, we'll meet there. And then she hangs up the phone. Good to see you. You said you wanted to meet with me tonight.
Thank you for making the time for us.
That's not a problem. I know you probably expected somewhere in Elysia, but that draws eyes. Every time you go to Elysia, people notice. Plus, I kind of like the history and stand here to tribute to those who died when we live on. Seems somewhat apt to me. What can I do for you tonight?
Well, we wanted to discuss a meeting that we had with a very unique individual. And are you talking, I would like to use Sense the Unseen to the general area around this.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a resolve all specs.
Right.
And we'll see how you do. You got 4 successes. Not bad. You going to willpower that, or you going to stick with your 4?
I'm going to go ahead and do the willpower.
Okay. You just got to roll 2 dice manually. It's decided you can't get to use the willpower. One problem I hate of fantasy cards, if you click anything else other than willpower after you've rolled dice, it doesn't let you willpower. You have to manually roll 2 dice.
I can undo one.
There you go. So you got 5 successes. As you're looking around with Sense the Unseen, there is both you, Callum, and Victoria seem to be surrounded by, there's a light glow encompassing all 3 of you. almost in a circle around you, though the circle is centered upon Victoria herself.
I've never seen this before.
No. You said a strange individual. What do you mean by that?
He was very polite, Rashad. I don't know if I would ascribe strange to him, but a Mr. Hideo came to visit us.
Oh, you've met with Hideo. He came to you already. Interesting. What did he say?
We wanted to organize a meeting between ourselves and a third party. We were concerned about the presence of that particular group and figured it would be best to let someone know to be safe.
It's funny. The previous group who held your domain, they met with Hideo as well.
He told us that. He said they did not negotiate in good faith.
So that's why they were killed. They came to us and told us of the meeting with Hideo. Both Manuel and I, we discussed it, and it was decided that the previous coterie would play along, would negotiate with him, let him think that they were switching sides. But they weren't, of course. That was to try to get somebody inside their camp to find out who's behind them. Intel, spies, double agents. Apparently, he caught wind of that. If they didn't negotiate in good faith, that's one way to put what we were trying to do. Now, I know you can look at me funny. I'll tell you, we didn't force them to try to be double agents. They volunteered to do it. Might I suggest you not try to play double agents with him?
I got the impression that that would not be a good idea.
We've done digging on him. We know he's a Banu Hakim. We know he's a facilitator, negotiator, arbitrator. He's one that anyone who pays his price, he'll come in and do the job for him, but he's highly ethical. He sets clear guidelines and follows the guidelines and doesn't tolerate him being used as a pawn to get one over on somebody. He expects, if he is negotiating a deal, that both ends of the deal be upheld and nobody breaks those deals, or retaliation is swift. That's all we found on him. We don't know much about him other than that. It's more legend than person, at least I thought until now.
I have spent
Interesting.
some time studying negotiation and persuasion. And during my tutelage, have spent a lot of time on etiquette, specifically kindred hospitality. Are there any domain resources that I could, a library or something that would maybe give us an edge in negotiating with a Banu Hakim such as Hideo?
For him, it's not a matter of what he would want anyway. It's whoever controls him. And that's the info we wanted most desperately to know. I spoke with Manuel about it. He's never seen a Sabbat negotiate in this way. He's never heard of them negotiating or using a negotiator. Their normal means of negotiation is they blow something up and tell you this is what's going to happen, or they don't do it again, or they will do it again. They're not really prone on negotiation at all. or arbitration or holding a deal. That's why we were so curious at the time, and that's why the previous coterie were so willing to play his game.
I wonder if there's something whoever this third party wants in the domain. It's very strange for both of us to be approached by the same person, but I assume it's the same offer.
That would be a good guess for sure. I can't give you any advice on how to handle this other than, well, if you switch sides and betray Manuel in this court, you know how that will end up.
It's important to me and my family that things stay cordial between us. With time, with events changing so often these nights, some stability is always wanted.
Stability is very important. That's Manuel's goal, is to stabilize the city. It just doesn't make sense that they would negotiate after the events that they've done and their methodology.
Do you think they've had a change in leadership?
No, because we're still fighting over the industrial area. Just last night, they firebombed a warehouse. So Manuel and I have thought maybe this is a third party, somebody else or something else, but that doesn't make sense because everything that we've heard about this Hideo in negotiations has been, he's heavily suggested that it is the Sabbat who's making the offer.
Well, maybe we treat this like any other business negotiation. Take them at face value, but be aware that there are things going on that we're not aware of.
Well, there's a lot of things going on that I don't think any of us are aware of in the city. Their entire, that eastern part of the Missouri side that they've controlled, we don't get a lot of intel out of there. Even the spirits are kind of problematic.
If he is as honorable as he seemed and as you seem to believe, then maybe that can be used to our advantage in this negotiation.
It's possible. It is possible. As I said, all I can recommend to you is remember that you're here supporting the tower. And changing sides during a war generally doesn't end well for those if they turn out to be on the losing side. I don't want to threaten you, and I'm not threatening you. It's just a fact of how the city's run. I'm sure if I switch sides, Manuel would spare no expense to reduce me to ash for that betrayal.
Well, I, for one, will maintain my support for the tower. I would not dishonor my sire by turning coat.
I have no interest in causing problems so close to the deadline. Besides, from what I've heard about these people, they aren't exactly reasonable nor care about rules and structure.
One little bit you may figure into your calculations. That same Mr. Hideo has also contacted each of the counselors and made the same overtures. None of them have accepted, to our knowledge. and I would hope they didn't. But any information you gain on him would definitely be useful for, well, the court. This homeowners association, and she smirks as she says it, could use all the assistance it can get. Can't have a rival association button up against it, can you?
Of course not, but we'll see what happens. I'll make no promises.
I would lose respect for you both if you did make promises. Promises made quickly are often the first ones that get thrown away, aren't they?
And people are very unaware of the fact that words hold power, and to give them away freely is not a wise course of action.
That's not what our society's built on. Even Manuel, with his progressive views of how to run this place, he understands that the lifeblood of our society will still be there. The promises made, promises kept, promises repaid.
Are there any steps being taken to make sure that members of that organization aren't able to move about freely? I don't know how powerful the Sadeo is, but it is big concerning that he's able to reach all of us without forewarning.
We don't know how he moves about the city. With a city this size, it can be hard to track where everyone is. We try. Unfortunately, we're decidedly lacking on Tremere. Makes it a problem to track some individuals. And we're trying to keep tabs. But one man amongst hundreds of thousands that are here. I mean, I've got my people looking for him. But you know how they're Banu now, but you know, as they were before when they were Assamites, you almost never saw them until they wanted to be seen. I don't suspect he's much different.
Oh, I suppose our message has been delivered. I imagine you are a very busy person.
Yes, I've got several other meetings tonight.
And may your night be pleasant.
Well, hopefully it is, but I have a feeling at least one of the meetings are not going to be to my liking. Politics of the situation, I guess. But
Well,
I do
thank you
bid
for
you
your-
all
Be
good
swift.
evening.
Thank you for your time, Inspector.
No problem at all. I'm here to help. And she turns to walk off, and as she moves away, Rashad, the glowing circle around you all moves with her. You don't feel anything as it passes over you.
Interesting. We should go quickly.
As you return to the vehicle, Rashad, you had 5 successes on your wits awareness. As you're going to get in the vehicle with Callum, just briefly reflecting in the glass, as you saw yourself in the glass of the passenger side window, there was a figure standing behind you, just briefly, in the reflection.
I don't.
You turn to look, you don't see it. When you look back at the glass, you don't see it. It was only there briefly. Somebody standing behind you. You couldn't see who it was. It was just a shadowy figure standing behind you over your shoulder.
All right. Let's get in.
And I will let you all discuss things before we switch over to the ladies with their trip.
There are problems, Mr. McFarlane.
Indeed. Which ones are you referring to?
First, we are being followed. At least I am. I didn't tell you by what, but considering that we are definitely not safe, it would be better for you to be at least aware to an extent. I'm unable to see them, which makes it either A, they are someone powerful, or they are using something that I don't know. Second, Victoria has something. I don't know what it is, nor what its actual purpose is, but I'm guessing it's why she felt comfortable talking openly in public.
Mhm.
It's very odd. I don't know your clan's history with magical items, so I don't know if that's normal for you all.
Some of us are known to carry various items. I don't have any myself.
Wonderful. There's also the lack of blood sorcerers are odd to me. From what I've seen, someone has to know how to deal with spirits, and everyone seems to keep mentioning that the spirits are uncooperative. I find it odd that so many people are even aware of them here. I admit that I don't know exactly how the tower operates. Perhaps you all have gotten better at necromancy over the centuries, but according to my family, you all weren't too aware of them. But they keep mentioning it, which is bothering me.
Well, we should get on the move again, particularly if we're being followed. But do you have a preference on destination? Some place you'd maybe like to address some of these concerns?
Let's go back to the haven. If the others come across a problem, it would be the first place they'd go to look for us. And I don't want to burn any of our other locations if we are being followed. Hopefully they don't already know.
Very well. If you wouldn't mind messaging the others, just to apprise them of our situation and where we're going.
And Rashad will send a text message to both Katerina and Gwen, and it will say, "Had a fun conversation. We are returning back to our headquarters if you need anything."
They'll get that message after their meeting. Because while this was going on, we're flashing to Katerina and Gwen. Katerina and Gwen, you all were told to head to a gym on East 19th Street, which is about 2 or 3 blocks from Christabella's actual domain. It's not in the domain. It's actually right between the domain and the rack. And I will let you all have a scene in the car as you're riding over.
I will say that we probably agreed to meet up at the logistics office after Kat got done with her surgery this evening. And then we left from there together.
Works for
Give me your wits awareness, and the scene is yours after you roll that.
Oh, phew.
Wow. It appears Rashad stole Gwen's rolls. 1 success on 7 dice for Gwen on wits awareness. No, that's better. Gwen's up to 3 now after a willpower.
Yikes.
Kat is up to
4.
4 after a willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the scene is yours.
So I just plan to ask Christabella about the other Zamitzi in town. What's your plan with her?
I mean, there's a lot of information we really need to get. Just who's who, period. I mean,
True.
we don't know what we're working with exactly yet.
True. She is so very La Sombra. Situating herself as she has and just making it known.
Yeah, I mean, I've set up near here. A little worried, I'll be honest, but
Yeah, well, if it's a secure place, you should hopefully be all right.
it's clearly where everything's happening.
Yeah. That is the downside to what you do.
Someone's got to do it. Otherwise, who would be the connection between people?
That's true. That's true. You doing all right, Gwen?
I'm fine. I still getting my head around things. It's hard without the network I had in Chicago with Marcel. At least it was something.
Yeah.
How's the family adjusting?
Seems to be going okay. Seems to be going okay. Now that our, first paychecks are hitting and stuff, we're finally, not feeling like we gotta go, they gotta go hit food pantries. So dumped all our money into building our forever home as it is. So yeah.
Found a good place.
Found a really good place outside the city. Open country. It'll be nice when it's done.
It's kind of daunting to think about how much there is to do here.
Yeah. And I'm just going to tell you now. I'm going to tell Hideo now.
I mean, of course. Well, I don't know if we should tell him. No. I don't think we should give him an answer immediately.
Well, when he gets
other.
back, I'm going to tell him no. Because there's absolutely nothing those assholes can offer me that I won't take for myself anyway.
I don't think that we should negotiate one way or the other, but the more questions we ask about it, the more we learn. Maybe eventually
if he'll
we'll
reveal
find out.
anything. He's obviously skilled.
You don't trust me to get his secrets?
Oh, I'm not saying that you won't try, but he's obviously very skilled.
Guess I need to bat my eyes more. It worked on Nick.
It is hilarious when you do that.
I do what I have
And so
to.
many fall for it. It's hilarious.
It helps when I'm young.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Just let me know if you're out and about collecting info, if you happen to see what looks like a 20-something Eastern European guy.
I'll keep an eye out. I mean,
We have the same eyes.
I'm not actively going out by myself. I'm taking what Manuel said very seriously about the buddy system.
Yeah. Just, if you're out with others, keep an eye out.
Of course.
Don't engage.
That's not exactly my thing, Kat.
Just let me know where you saw him.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully coming months I can get you something, but
It's okay if you
might
can't.
be a bit.
But just if you happen across it, just let me know.
Of course. You get first dibs at it.
Appreciate it. It's been 20 years.
I wonder if he'll just show himself at some point.
I mean, he is an idiot, so probably.
He also sounds overly confident of himself.
Reckless. Moronic. Got an ego the size of fucking Texas. Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not one to play with your food, but we could learn things. He's played this game of fear with you for so long.
Oh
Only fair
no,
you
from what
return
I
the favor.
understand, I think he was rather tied up doing grandma's bidding. And he's probably here to lure me on her
You don't
bidding.
think? Do you think she's here?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. She barely moved off the couch. But if she is, I'll take her out too.
Someone, if there's not something here, someone has to be here.
That's true. The fact they're using someone like Hideo, that is highly, I mean, that's like new because, yeah. But maybe, I don't know, maybe the Gehenna War hit them harder than they're letting people know.
Are we really sure that he's working for the Sabbat?
I'm going to be very real. I don't think I could give a shit less if he is or isn't. When I needed help protecting my family, a Camarilla Nosferatu and a Camarilla Toreador helped me. So fuck him, fuck his offers, fuck whoever he's working with.
You're such strong-willed.
I was the youngest in a Revenant family. I had to be.
It's so different than the way I would approach it.
We all have our own ways.
And as you say that, you're pulling up to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of it is just 19th Street Gym.
Okay.
And you find a parking spot. It's a meter. Uses your cell phone, like most meters do these days. But you get your parking. And as you head into the place, it's what you'd expect from a gym. The boxing ring is visible to everybody. There's weights, there's punching bags, speed bags. But when you come in, first thing you all notice is all the eyes in the place immediately lock on you two. All of them.
Okay.
And they watch you as you're coming through real close.
Hmm?
until a woman that you see was working the heavy bag turns and eyeballs you. She's kind of short, squat, obviously a bodybuilder of some kind. The outfit she's wearing doesn't show her muscles, but she's definitely the way she was working the speed bag. She's not a petite kind of woman. She's got short cropped blonde hair that's shaved on both sides. And when she sees you come in and notices you, they're okay. And as soon as she does that, everyone goes back to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The whole gym goes right back to what they were doing.
Kat just makes a note, and she knows exactly why she's set up the way she is. And she just walks up with Gwen and says, "Counselor, thank you for the meeting."
You mind if I go back to what I'm doing while we talk?
Sure, go for it.
Please do.
And she returns to working the punching bag. I feel this helps me think. Something to do. Gives me something to zoom out when I need to think of things. You obviously know who I am, Christabella.
Yes.
I had descriptions of you all, but please introduce yourself so I have names to go with. I knew generally.
Katerina Riccozzi.
Katerina?
I'm Gwen Schultz.
Gwen. You'll find this is a fairly safe place to talk, as safe as you can get.
Good.
In these nights.
Yes, I see they're all yours.
It seems to be true.
They're loyal to me or others, but
Gotcha.
generally they're all loyal here.
Good.
That's why I don't mind working out here. It'd be quite interesting to see if they decided to hit this place.
Yes. I was like, oh, look, walking into an army.
The mortals aren't always a match for our kind, but insufficient numbers with sufficient training.
Yes. Yes.
They can at least slow them down.
Yeah. How's recruitment going?
Not as well as I'd like. Most of them that are still around seem to be hardcore fanatics, which is unfortunate because, if my clan can work a good deal, it's a perfect opportunity to get a better life.
Yeah.
A little more structure, a little less
Chaos?
Yes.
Yeah.
And after the events this past 20 years, what's still going on in the East, you would think more of them would be smart enough to understand they were played for fools.
How long have you been out?
15 years. I spent a few years out east. Saw some things that convinced me. We made mistakes. We were lied to. We were fooled into thinking we were something we're not. Into thinking we were prepared for something you can't be prepared for. So I came back. I joined before the rest of my clan did. It took them hardheads a little bit longer to understand, read the writing on the wall, that if you want to be a survivor, if you want to win, you've got to be on a different side now.
Do you feel more prepared now?
I don't know how to put it. After what I saw out east, I don't think I'm prepared for anything. But I'm pretty sure I can handle the chuckle fucks that want to take me on in my territory. And as she says it, she hits the bag a little bit harder to demonstrate her point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I heard there was another of my clan that defected and joined.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure you'd call what they did defected. I'm not quite sure they were ever part.
Then we might have something in common.
of the Sabbat. I don't get calls to see them much. They don't deal with me often. And they were here when I got here. I talked with them a bit. They're definitely loyal to Manuel. Not sure if that means to the tower or not,
Right.
but they're loyal to Manuel, which is the important part for right now. Just odd. They know shit they shouldn't.
Really?
They pick up things they shouldn't.
Huh.
They're very strange. They do what I expect. They can shape flesh as good as any of your kind can.
Well, that's up for debate.
But there are other things they do is... I can give you an example. It's a pretty simple example. I met with them one night. It was just to talk about, I wanted their opinion on whether a good tactics I could use to try to convince others of their clan to switch sides and join us. And while we were talking, they just kind of, their eyes glazed over a bit, and then they told me somebody was about to kick in the door. I guess it must be kind of like what those, what Manuel's clan does. A glimpse of the future, though, the way they said it, it seemed like they knew.
What else?
That's the biggest one I've seen. I know the Sabbat has tried to ambush them multiple times. They seem to have a real hatred of those who are not still in the Sabbat. Hence why I'm so open with my positions and where I stand and where I live. They've gone after this individual a few times. Can't catch them. Slippery as an eel. I'd say they're part Nosferatu, but you know that doesn't work that way.
Doesn't.
Especially in this city. If they were part Nosferatu, I'd wring their fucking neck. If I can get my hands on them damn sewer rats, I'm going to wring their neck just because.
How could I go about getting an introduction?
I'll let them know you wish to meet with them. And they'll let me know. You understand?
I understand.
A bit paranoid, especially with new people, unproven people.
I got you.
I mean, I don't worry.
But let them know I also technically was never in the Sabbat. I was as a ghoul. The night I got embraced, I sent my sire running and I left.
The night I got embraced, I had just beat the shit out of the one who embraced me. Apparently, being able to kick his ass was enough to impress him.
Yeah, that tracks.
That he felt I was worthy to keep going.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a whole ass thing. But needless to say, he embraced me and I basically obviously had to look like I was going to murder him in my eyes, and he took off running. And
I did murder the one who embraced me.
Oh, it's on my list of things to do, trust me.
There was his mistake. If I beat his ass once, what made him think
that you wouldn't do it again?
That once you gave me this, and as she says this, you see her eyes grow dark.
Yeah. And Kat just
that I wouldn't do it again.
That she wouldn't do it again. Right.
And he thought he could force me to his will with a bond. And that only worked the short term.
Yeah.
And then he got his ass beat. And he decided to up his enthusiasm to get me under control. So I proceeded to dissuade him of that notion and all other notions. The only thing that went through his head was the truck when I threw it into the road. Yeah, yeah. You know, we all have our
stories.
Yes, our the misspent youth, I could say. And that whole War Out East thing started. And
Yeah.
man, you want to talk about stories? We all have our stories. I could tell you stories that turn your hair white. Look at it did to mine. And she grins as she says it. I used to be a redhead.
One day we might have to sit down and swap war stories.
I mean, I don't have many war stories, but I'd love to hear them.
You stay here
That's how
long
you
enough, you
learn.
will.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not jinx it.
Oh, we're in a war footing.
Yeah, we are.
You're going to
know.
get war stories.
You'll get some of your own.
If you don't, that tells me you're not helping.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to help without fighting directly.
Yeah, but that still gets you war stories.
That still gets you war stories. You will witness
That's
things.
fair.
You know, that's not everyone's going to do like I do. Not everyone wants to go brawl in the streets. But you're still fighting the war. You still get the stories. Your story will just be the one that helped set it up then, right? That's how this works. In case you can't tell, me and Merrick get along quite well.
I had the pleasure with Merrick, and he's pretty cool.
You know how the gangrels are.
Yeah.
And Counselor of the Wild,
Yeah.
he's got a bit of a wild side to him.
I-
We get along quite well. We're both a bit blunt, you might say.
Well, so am I. So we'll probably get along just fine.
You know, when you're built like this, you're really not good for subtlety. There's nothing subtle about me.
Gwen just kind of looks down at herself in her like very petite frame. It's like
When
very
you're from
different.
Queens, you're not generally very subtle.
Yeah. You know, when you're built like this, you come to realize not only are you not subtle, there's no point in it. You're just better off, you know, being as subtle as a brick to the head, which I have done.
Gwen, did you have any other questions for her this evening?
Actually, I do want to talk more about the Tamitsi you were talking about earlier. How old are they? Do you know?
No, they were here when I got here. They have a particular loyalty to Manuel for some reason, which is odd, given I don't want to speak bad about our prince, but his clan is not known for inspiring loyalty in clans like Tzimisce. They seem like they're good friends. You know, one of the things that it's a culture thing, I think, for the city. We don't talk about how old we are a lot of times. It's just, I know in like where you came from, Chicago, age is it's a club to be used against those younger than you. Here, we tend not to discuss age.
As in it's taboo or
Some
just
people
not
might get offended
important?
if you ask their age, for sure.
Understood.
Some just think that's this so gauche.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah. Soda. Somebody asked Soda how old they were. He came back with, you know, why would you ask something as gauche as that? And Toreador talk. They got to flower it up rather than just say, have you lost your damn mind?
I ask that question at least 5 times a week.
So be careful who you ask their age. The only way to really tell around here is watch what they do.
Yeah.
Because it's all about what you bring to the table, what you offer to the city, what you're capable of, not how old you are, who your sire was. whether your grandfather pissed on, the tree of luck and got, this prime lineage or some shit. Results. That's why I like it here. That's why I came here.
Where are the best places to watch for things like that?
Elysia give away a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Powers may not be used, but manners of speech, Elysia, where people tend to dress in what's most comfortable to them. You can pick up a lot by watching what they wear, what they do with their hands, how they stand. Even I'm prone to that. Most people can tell I was a boxer beforehand, not just by the build, but by my stance.
Yep.
You don't find me, my feet give me away. I'm always in a stance, ready to react. But it's important to be ready, I guess. There's a little things you'll pick up.
Guess I'll start there then.
Eventually, it won't matter how old somebody is, honestly. You'll begin to think of it in terms of what they're good for and whether they have been useful, whether they're helpful, whether they are capable. Which
I
is
ask
the
as
most
a starting point more than anything else.
Yes.
I know it's not the end all be all.
It's
There are ways of fudging things like that.
oh yes. There's easy ways to make even the youngest seem older than they are. But that way is dangerous. I've seen what happens when that goes wrong. That's one of the things I saw out east. Somebody thought they would eat an elder.
Oof.
And it turns out, well, they just gave the elder an upgrade.
Yeah.
A new body.
Risk reward.
Mm.
And then they're stupid.
And then they're stupid.
Yes.
Better to destroy them than risk that.
Yes.
And that's to be fair, that's one of the most non-traumatizing things I've seen.
That's terrifying.
I've seen a cloud, black as night, roll over a village, and as it rolled away, all that was left was desiccated corpses. The whole village. Never seen anybody with that kind of power before. Not till I was there.
Yeah.
So that's the lesson for today. The lesson for today is don't go out east.
No kidding.
Only fools go out east. Fools or madmen or mad fools.
Makes me think that the ones running it on the other side there are ones that either were smart enough not to go or somehow came back.
There's definitely some smarts.
I can sense that.
They learn too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expected by announcing myself I would constantly get to have fun. They probed me a few times.
And that's it.
And after I dispatched enough of them, it just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
They've decided it's not worth the losses. That tells me they're something odd of the Sabbat is they're sensitive to losses at the moment. And they shouldn't be.
That's not their normal
No.
MO.
Normally they just throw more shovel heads into the fire. Mortals are quick to grab, quick to embrace and point at us. They seem to have a manpower shortage, which is most un-Sabbat-like.
Yes, it is.
But there's also...
There's a cunning.
There is, but there's something off about this group. I don't know. Look, I spent my time before I switched. I've been in the groups. There's a disorganization to them.
Really?
That isn't right. It is like one hand isn't talking to the other hand.
Oh, that's not good.
I've seen them disrupt their own activities.
Oh, that's really not good.
Is it possible that there's more than one true group we're dealing with here.
Well, if there was, they would have wiped out the other group already.
Right.
Unless they're both. It's
They
not the
don't-
game they want.
They don't tolerate when there's a challenge in the Sabbat.
Oh, no. Competition and challenges are not tolerated.
You kneel to the one in charge, or you better be ready to supplant the one in charge.
Right.
Competition is actually, that's part of the breeding of the whole problem, the whole point of it all.
It is.
Only the strongest get to lead. Only the strongest survive. Only the most cunning continue. And yet they act like, I'd call them anarchs, except the anarchs are not dangerous.
Yeah. Don't tell them that, though. They swear they are.
Not this group. I've told this group multiple times when they're ready to grow a pair of balls. Feel free to join the big kids at the table
Yeah.
and fight for what's important.
Yeah.
They don't listen.
That's
there-
interesting, though.
Any chance that maybe it could be another group of Cam trying to take control and masquerading as a Sabbat?
That is possible. It's also possible it could be a group of anarchs we don't know about masquerading as Sabbat.
Yeah.
The problem is what you always have for a problem. How do you tell if someone's actually Sabbat? There's
That's
no
fair.
brand.
The
There's
only
no
real
designation.
obvious ones are the shovelheads.
They're very obvious. You can tell sometimes by the way they treat the mortals.
Yeah. But even so, that's not always.
That's not always true. Right. It's we get into an identification problem. There's no clear-cut way to tell. All we know is they oppose us for this city. And if their tower, they're going about it a very risky way.
Yeah.
Breaches of the type that these kind of wars calls tend to eventually bring the attention of those that even the Sabbat would prefer not to come in the city.
Yeah.
Even the
I
Sabbat
mean-
get worried when a Justicar shows up.
I'm sure you've heard what happened in Chicago.
Oh, yes,
Hmm.
Does happen.
it does. But that wasn't Sabbat.
No, that wasn't. That was Cam.
Exactly.
And that should be a good reminder to anyone what happens.
Yeah.
If you fuck around too long, when that bill comes due, that's
They
not
take
one you
it out
can
of
keep
your
on your
ass.
tab. Right.
Interest.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's why we try our best. Even when I'm brawling in the streets, the brawls in the streets are not using powers that show me as anything other than what I appear to be.
Yeah.
I try not to attract too much attention.
I did have one other question, speaking of brawls in the street.
Of course.
How much of the surrounding area do you defend regularly? Is it just your domain? Do you go beyond that? How is enforcement overall?
I wander all the time. Domain is just the place where I know they'll come looking. Though after that stopped and they quit sending probes into my area, I've had to wander out further. Sometimes I find them in the rack. Sometimes I have to go much further east to find some. Here lately, I've just been able to go into the industrial area to the north.
How's
That is
it
quite the
going there?
hotbed.
It's going. They firebombed a place last night. I found them after the firebombing.
Mm.
3 of them didn't make it out. The others got away while I was dealing with them, which is another thing that struck me as odd because I'm not used to a pack that sacrifices others. Normally the packs will fight to the death if they can't all get away.
Yeah.
It's the bond between them. So they may not be
They might not be doing.
pack bonding anymore.
Yeah.
But the group was for sure working together to begin with?
Their interests seem to align. I've only seen packs fighting amongst themselves a handful of time. And to be fair, that could be, well, pack struggle for dominance just like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Can't be sure. but there's organization and disorganization at the same time. It is most un-Sabbat-like.
It's like they're trying to do the traditional things, but something or someone is dismantling it from within.
That's a possibility. The big thing that I have to say is after what happened out east, all bets are off, I think.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like it.
And with a large portion of their strength having departed,
Yeah,
which would be
that's what I figured
my
out.
clan, they've lost. My clan was always their enforcers. My clan was always even internally used to keep everyone else in line. With them gone, who knows what the hell's happening. They're not all gone, of course. Some knuckleheads still haven't seen the writing on the wall, or they're afraid they're going to be the price that is asked to join.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't the best idea of a way to get us to join, but I'd already joined, so it didn't matter.
Well, Christabella, thank you so much for your time this evening.
It's nice to meet you both. You can call me Bella.
Bella?
Bella.
You can call me Kat.
Gwen's already shortened.
Maybe one day I'll learn your full name. We'll see.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
And as you turn to leave, you catch her eyes as she looks to one of the guys in the place. And the body language in the place seems to relax a little. You have the distinct feeling that if she had not looked to that individual, you might have had a problem leaving.
Yeah.
And as you return to your vehicle, I will give you all a scene before we go to break for you two to discuss what you just, well, Christabella.
Did you get the answers you were hoping for?
More. I think the other Samitsi that's loyal has found something that I thought was lost.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think they've probably been here as long as Manuel has, to be honest. Or close, anyway.
But it was, from everything I heard, it pretty much had been lost a long time.
I mean, I think he's been here a long time, or they've been here a long time.
You're young.
Don't remind me, okay? I'll figure things out eventually, okay?
I know. But yeah. It's interesting, though. It's very interesting. They're sending a negotiator to try to get coteries brought over. Hell, they've probably sent the negotiator to even other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, they could have, snatched humans and create shovelheads any damn time they want. But they're trying to recruit better.
I think that kind of goes to show that there's someone who's strong or in a position of power who isn't actually Sabbat. If they were, they'd go about it through the traditional means that we would see of Sabbat. They'd do more shovelheads. They wouldn't try negotiations, but here we are. Someone is very decidedly not acting Sabbat.
Or someone is like Manuel and realized that they needed to try a new way.
Poses an interesting question. If you change everything, are you still part of the same group?
That is an interesting question.
It could be, but I think that if that is the case, not everyone is in agreement.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. It is... The Sabbat is almost as old as the Camarilla. Almost. For centuries, it operated in a certain way. There was a strict hierarchy. And yes, Christabella was right. Bred for competition. Survival of the fittest. It would be very hard to change an organization that entrenched. But not to say there isn't someone with some modicum of power within the organization that's trying to.
Like
But of
Monroe.
course, it's coming out chaotic because it's both the entrenched and the new way coming together.
So maybe someone new did return. Well, they've kind of been this way for a little bit, though, haven't they?
Right. But the war out east's been going on for a while. Could be somebody came back.
Someone's new, but not quite new to this. It
Right.
seems. Or a group, whatever it may be.
Right. Oh, well, sitting here analyzing it doesn't do squat about it. So...
And now you get the text from Rashad.
Okay, they're going back to they met with the sheriff, the inspector.
Have to be careful with that cat.
And they're going to be back at the logistics place. So,
Guess we'll meet them there.
yep.
So as you two head back, Callum and Rashad are already, well, they'll beat you there by shortly a little bit. Right here, everybody. Right here is where we're going to go to break. We will see you in 10 minutes and 33 seconds because of the break music, because I don't want to cut the song early. So I will see you all after the break. Yeah. Welcome back. And Astro, to be a fly in the cast chatter during break, I know that's always a thing with us.
It really is.
And sometimes it's even game related.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes. Hard to say. But before the break, Callum and Rashad met with Victoria to talk about Hideo and his politeness. And Kat and Gwen actually finally met Christabella, the counselor of the fold, the one who's trying to bring Sabbat members over to their side, which is, Christabella put it succinctly, it's very difficult to convince the knuckleheads. The smart ones, she considers the smart ones did like she did.
Right.
Or Clan Lasombra did a number of them, which is look at the writing on the wall and go, ooh, losing side, and not be there. But as we pick up here at the second half of the episode, they've gathered back at their logistics headquarters because they had, they both had their own meetings tonight. So we'll turn it over as you all have gathered once again in your logistics building. I turn it to the players.
Shot is going to be spreading building material, like just kind of rough rocks and things like that, across the entranceways, just in case.
What are
Something
you doing?
that'll make noise.
While we were meeting, it is, well, first and foremost, some of us are being followed. I cannot confirm what it was, but I only caught a flash of it. Hopefully it is a person good at hiding themselves. From what some of my cousins would tell me, they make noise if they have to interact with something. So hopefully they will either not be able to enter, or if they enter and step over these rocks and whatnot, we will be alerted.
Or do you have plans to figure out what's following you? Who?
I am considering it, but the issue is if they are able to hide from me, even for moments, then they are probably more powerful than I am. And not knowing who they are might be keeping me or us alive, at least a little longer.
I did not see whatever this was that's following us.
We met with the inspector, and they were aware of our Banu Hakim friend's presence. Apparently, he's met with a number of other people, including our previous owners of this place and several of the counselors. Apparently, the ones before us attempted to act as double agents within the Sabbat. That is what got them killed. Officially, we have not been asked to do that, and I would strongly suggest not attempting to do that. And I won't be able to do that, but it is an option you all may choose to take if you wish. There's...
Yeah,
they have
no.
any... Do they happen to know who he's working for? Or anything more about why he's doing it, since this seems so odd?
They don't even know how he moves around the city.
Unfortunately, they have no idea who this other person is, and either the other coterie did not know or did not tell them before they were killed. They also can't be sure that the other counselors didn't accept the offer. The only thing we can be sure for exactly is that they all survived. So if they had those meetings or didn't, we don't know.
If any of them took the deal, I mean, kind of in a bad spot. I mean, do we not trust the counselors?
I think we're in a position where we kind of have to trust the counselors until something reveals itself. But the inspector didn't feel like any of them were compromised yet.
How would she know?
To the best of her knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How would she know?
I do think that the inspector and Bella both have fairly extensive information. I mean, information networks, period. Everything that we've heard so far indicates that they're generally the two who really know what's going on in the city. I feel like the inspector would be the one to know, unless the inspector herself was the one compromised.
Right.
That could be the case, too. Yeah, Bella had some good input. She's often on front lines fighting here. Noticing some weird things beyond just like sending someone like Hideo to us. Noticing some weird things. In the Sabbat, there was a ritual that was done for coteries, as it were. They're called packs. And there's a ritual that was done to create a pack bond. This bond was to make the pack a cohesive group. Everyone had a specific role within the pack. And they would basically, if they ever had to fight, they would fight to the death instead of leave one of their pack mates behind. But she's noticing that packs are disjointed, that they'll leave pack mates behind now.
So there's no more forced cohesion.
That's what I'm thinking. And that's what she's thinking, that maybe they're not doing the ritual.
Or if they are, maybe they're doing it wrong.
Could be that too, but I think they're not doing it.
But what would the point be of not doing it?
Expediency?
True loyalty?
I doubt it's that.
Guess I'm an optimist.
Sounds like not doing it would be making them weaker. Does this bond make them immune to other forms of manipulation?
That I don't know. That I do not know. At best, because I know that well, I can't say I know. I saw what happened to PACs in the war in New York when they lost a member. You could tell that every remaining member felt it.
Maybe that's what it is they aren't doing it because they have such small numbers. If one of them were to die, the rest of the pack would be devastated. They wouldn't be able to function as well.
Right.
And they have
such
small numbers, they can't risk the lives.
I bet that's it.
Still seems too risky.
It's not a bond to a superior. It's a bond to them, to their fellow pack mates.
Maybe because of whoever is in charge and doing things differently, maybe they have also learned some hard-fought lessons from the Camarilla and how they do things. Maybe the way our coteries are developed have some perceived advantage over their blood-bonded packs.
Possibly. It makes me think that, I don't know, Bella also said, because I've been kind of thinking this too, based on what I've been hearing. Like there might be, I don't want to say like different factions within the leadership of them, but like there might be someone in the leadership position that wants to try new things, but the others aren't trying new things as much, and it's causing some chaos internally for them.
I still question if that person is even truly on the side of the Sabbat. Like, if they're even really part of it, or if they're just hiding there. And that's why there's so much discord.
It's possible, but normally the Sabbat's pretty good at rooting that shit out.
It's
normally
something has been bothering me. Everyone in the city, or at least the ones, important ones, seem to constantly refer to spirits, whether not being able to talk to them, not finding them, and the rumors of this other necromancer on their side. I recall the conversation from one of my uncles. He mentioned that it is possible for ghosts, for wraiths, to possess our kind as well. If the Sabbat are behaving oddly, it might be that this other necromancer isn't on the side of the Sabbat. They're after their own thing, and they're using ghosts to make either their companions behave differently or to make them behave in a way that they wouldn't ordinarily. That may be why this bond thing isn't working properly. I don't think it would affect one of them.
Okay, Rashad, that is absolutely terrifying.
Would someone have to be extremely powerful for that to happen? I mean, to have that much control over enough to make a noticeable difference in the tactics of the Sabbat.
It is possible. From what I understand about the Sabbat, they are very interested in power. My uncle did not explain to me how it's done, but he showed me that these wraiths do give you something in this agreement. It's possible that he offered them improvements and they took it. If they are meant to be soldiers, I don't see why they would turn their nose up at the idea. And then once it's done, it could very well be impossible to take it back, or at least not for them to resist. From what I understand, most of you all don't know how to resist or deal with a ghost once it's appeared, so they may not have any choice in the matter.
A, that makes me think we might want to learn. And B, I guess I think there might be something else going on too, though, because I feel like a shovelhead would be easier for a ghost to control because less like directly defensive willpower, I guess. So why would they move away from that still? Like they could do that with some and then still get the numbers. Why aren't they doing both?
Yeah, because Christabella, she wanted me to call her Bella, but she mentioned that they're not even doing like mass shovelheads either. It's like they have a manpower shortage. And that's like unheard of. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, between the Lasombra leaving and the war out east, they've lost a number of individuals. And I've heard things about various cities that they controlled being taken from them because of that. But I really believe they are projecting a facade of more strength than they actually have.
But here's the thing, is that it's everyone knows that it seems like they have lower numbers. So isn't it more likely that it's the opposite, that they're trying to be seen as weaker than they really are and they're playing the long game?
Could be.
The other
Do
thing
we
about
know... Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rashad.
Do we know of any missing people or murders recently? If they aren't making more of these shovel heads, they might be killing them for the ghosts inside. A younger ghost would be easier to control.
The other thing about it being ghosts is I wonder if they were using ghosts as a weapon, and like I said, maybe they're waiting. Wouldn't there be more ghosts, period? Like, wouldn't it make more sense to have young kindred and ghosts separate rather than overlap through like possessions?
It's possible.
Rashad, something that I was thinking, and forgive my ignorance in the matters of ghosts and wraiths and various spirits. These ghosts or wraiths, could they be used as a carrot and a stick? Could they be somehow having a ghost or a wraith accompany every pack with the promise of enhancements, as you mentioned, or oblivion if they don't do what they're supposed to?
Yes. My education on necromancy was a bit shallow, but from what I've been told, it is possible to use them as basically sentries to watch over a location or person. When they possess you or take you over, it is different, but it did make you stronger. I don't know much about how the Sabbat works or how they fight, but it's possible that they're shifting from a quantity to a quality situation. They can make 10 or 30 super strong soldiers at the cost of having 30 weak ones. That may be more useful, at least for a battle here. The only problem is the ghosts aren't cooperating with us. At least that's what my mentor mentioned before he left, that they weren't happy with us, whether they ever were. So it seems risky to use them so openly now.
Do you think you could... Asking one sounds a lot more lighthearted than I mean it to, but talk with one and maybe get some information? Dig into it a little bit? I don't know your ways or how you would do that, but sounds worth looking into.
It's possible. Unfortunately, I was not taught how to summon one. But if we were to find one that was open to a communication, I could do so. I imagine we'd need to find some way to make them agree to work with us, some deal. But it is difficult. We aren't known for being kind to them, and they aren't known for working with us happily.
Maybe we'll get lucky and that's what's following you.
Perhaps. I would like to use Sense the Unseen again, but
Go ahead.
this time I'm
all
going to
specs for
rouse the
Sense
blood.
Unseen.
I'm going to rouse the blood. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can do this right.
Let's see what you get. Three successes on 8 dice.
Willpower.
You're going to willpower that one?
I am.
Okay. Hey, whoa, that's pretty
There we
good
go.
there. 6 successes on 8 dice. I like 6 successes. That's pretty good. Wasn't a critical, but still good. As you switch your vision to see things that are supernaturally hidden or supernaturally not there. For a brief instant, the floor of your building seems to be coated in blood. The whole place. But it's definitely ethereal in nature. It is not actual blood. You can tell it's translucent, like you're seeing a glimpse of either something on the other side or something like that.
Do you all know the history of this place?
Just what you know, or what we've been told together about the group who used to be here, but that wasn't even this building, I don't think.
No. And I mean, other than Kansas and the brutality that happened here a while back.
Could we be dealing with one of your spirits or wraiths here?
I think so. There is blood everywhere. I don't know if that means we are in a place that they frequent or if someone died here. But we should be very careful.
Is there a way to, tell long term?
I could attempt to call out to them and see what happens. But other than that, not that I know of.
Rashad, my first instinct goes to hospitality. How would we make one of these things feel welcome?
I don't think calling it a thing is the first way to go about that.
First, we should find out who they are or were. Looking around, do I see anything specific outside of just the spectral blood, or is there any?
Just the spectral blood. And you only saw it briefly.
I'm going to check around. Maybe I can find out what happened to them.
You're going to walk around the building?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'll walk behind him 10 or 15 feet.
Okay. As you go around, are you going inside or outside the building as well?
I'm going to start inside and just kind of do like a circle through, and then reassess after.
Okay. You walk through the actual logistics headquarters here that you've set up as your haven. As you walk through the rooms, 6 successes since the unseen. You don't see any more blood. You do get brief feelings, is almost the way to do it, of violence. Not anger, not aimed at you, but just like, that feeling you get when you're in a crowd that you know's about to snap. You can just sense the violence in the air. You get brief feelings of that as you wander the building, but that's it.
You may have to go outside, Mr. McLaughlin.
Very well. And if my presence will hinder you at all, I can stay back with the others.
I don't think so. From what I've heard, if you can't see them, you won't offend them, at least not directly. I would like to go outside and do another.
As you walk outside and start to look around, move around the building, down at the end of the block, west of your place, down the road there that runs along that whole section, you hear tires squeal as you see a van come around the corner, and somebody throws something out of the van. Something large gets thrown out of the van as it flies past you. Now, as you see it drive past, it's just a white work van, but it strikes you odd because it had no tags on it as it went past. But they threw something out at the end of the block.
I will put my hand over my handgun and then go and check it out, just to be sure.
So while Rashad's going down the street, was Callum following?
Yes.
Okay. So you see the van as well. Kat and Gwen, you're still in the building. You heard the tires. Barely. You heard the tires squeal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like if we heard the tires,
we're
Gwen
both
would
on
probably
our way
look
out.
at Kat and be like, let's go see
So
what
you come out
happened
as
here.
you see Rashad and Callum about 15 feet behind him moving down the street towards the corner, which matched the direction you heard the tires squeal from. Rashad, as you approach, there's a body laying in the street. Woman, probably 20, 21 years old. Blonde hair. The color of her skin tells you that there's no blood in her. And the fact she's hit the street and there's nothing. No blood at all. No signs of wounds.
No signs of impact on the street.
Clothes is a little bit scraped up. Skin scraped, but where the skin's scraped, it's not bleeding.
He will look around to make sure he's not being watched.
Only that you can see is Callum and Kat and Gwen coming up the street towards you.
Can I just go ahead and like preemptively do a wits awareness?
Go ahead. I will let you roll that anytime you want. Three? That's not bad. That's pretty good. Pretty good. A 4 from Kat. Nope. Now it's 5 from Gwen. 4 from Kat. Pretty good. Pretty good. The body, 3 from Callum. The body is definitely, you've seen this before. Somebody drank this body completely dry.
And then dumped it in our domain.
And dumped it in your domain. The fact that it was a van, you didn't see the van, so I guess you have to wait for Rashad and Callum to mention the tag list, but...
Was she just drained?
No rigor mortis is set in. But of course, with no blood, rigor mortis wouldn't set in, so there's no decay either.
Kat's going to...
Sorry, there's no bruising from the blood settling. Rigor mortis would still set in, but none has happened yet.
Kat's going to feel the body.
It's warm enough that...
It happened recently.
Very recent, yes.
It's been very recent. She's still warm to the touch.
I'll deal with the person for now. And he will pick up the corpse, but to make it way back into the building, and I will use Ars Moriendi to make this less of an issue for now.
The nice thing about your domain, being it's mostly industrial and business,
most things are closed
at this time of night. At least in the northern section of it, because the southern section has apartments where there's a lot more activity to hunt, to give you places to hunt. Up here, yeah, there's not a lot of activity. There's nobody to see you moving the body. And you're going to use your power that lets you dispose of a body, which is good. As you're moving the body, you briefly see, again, the blood, ethereal blood, except in this case, instead of coating everything, you see it washing away.
I think this place has been a disposal ground for a long time.
Interesting.
I wonder if there are other corpses here. I'm going to go and continue to look around. I won't tell you all what to do, but once I have dealt with this body, the blood seemed to fade a bit, which makes me think there may be others here. I would ask you to assist me in finding them. Ideally, it may either get rid of the ghost or get us a little bit of goodwill. If we can see to it that their remains are at least somewhat respectively dealt with.
Sure.
I mean, if we want to improve this place, I don't think that bodies work for zoning and just an overall hassle.
I don't think the HOA approves of dead bodies for sure.
Yeah, so.
You all are going to start a patrol of the place?
Yeah.
As you walk your domain, as Rashad is dealing with the body, you don't find any other corpses. You do find the tire tread marks. You only heard this corner, it looks like, because you can see where there were other squeal marks. They were doing a loop around the block. Obviously, they weren't sure what building was yours because they didn't dump it in front of your building. They dumped it. Well, it's entirely possible it could have been in front of where the other coterie had set up. Who knows? But you find no other bodies in the place. Now, until you get near the apartments, there's not much activity. Of course, as you get close to the apartments, it's a Friday night. You can hear some music playing. The apartments are rather busy. But I don't think you all are going to sweep the apartments.
No. Just
So
walk the block around them.
So as you walk around them and you return back to your logistics building, nothing else was out of place this night.
Did you all find anything?
Nothing.
Can I ask a question? So does it look like they had been driving around for like a little bit?
No. There's only those two corners that had tires peeled.
Okay.
They obviously did a loop around the block because they didn't know where we were set up.
I mean, if they were focusing on where we were set up, it makes it seem less likely that this is just a random body dumping ground and more
targeted,
intentional.
Mm-hmm. Trying to cause problems for us.
Mm-hmm.
But this does not answer the question about whatever spirit material is going on.
If Rashad wishes, I'm always nice about this. You can roll, I'll let you roll intelligence occult. If you roll well enough, I might give you some hints.
Seems like we just got a haunted domain. Mm-hmm. Or a haunted haven in the domain.
I feel like it likes having more blood, if anything.
Well, considering her state, that was less.
More bodies.
Wow, 2. Wow. That's not too good there.
I'm gonna read.
Oh, that's a little better. You get 4. From your knowledge of the occult, the ghost world, spirits, and including a land that is, well, been touched by traumatic events, it is possible that the two events are linked directly in some way. That the land reacted to events as they were happening, and you just happened to see it.
I can't be sure, but it might just have been an omen. For now, until anymore, it's probably better to not go wandering around at night. I will see what I can do.
That's fair.
Oh, the list of problems keeps getting higher. What do we want to focus on?
Well, seems like we aren't quite strong enough to deal with whatever grand mystery is going on. Seems to me we need to focus on getting more secure here.
Mm-hmm.
I will learn what I can about spirits, at least so we can defend ourselves somewhat. And we'll have to deal with whatever comes after that together.
I think that one of the ways of being more secure is to learn more about what we're dealing with. Bella indicated that Elysia might be a good place to start with that, at least get some more knowledge. So I might take that route if that's fine with everyone. I'm not so useful in the ghost with the fighting side of things.
I think that'll work. I don't know if you all know how common magical objects or things would be here, but the Victoria had something on her. I can't, unfortunately, I'm not able to know what it does, but maybe looking into the occult happenings around here Doubt there'll be a shop with magical items, but there don't seem to be many of the Tremere here. Maybe there's a thread there.
Honestly, I wouldn't know what I was looking at with that.
I think we're all counting on you for that, Rashad.
I mean, if you need me to hit something, I can hit something. I can do more than heal with these hands.
I mean, you could always help educate us, Rashad, on these things.
Of course, it is a bit ironic. I spent my beginning on life being forgotten, and now it seems the small scraps I did learn may be what we need.
I would welcome the education as well.
For now, I would be careful about the items you all get your hands on. Every object has a story.
Absolutely, I'll bring it to you.
I don't plan on accepting anything from strangers.
I mean, that's also a very good rule.
Be careful with old things as well.
Yeah.
Previous owners don't always give up what they once owned.
Haunted objects. Yeah, I've seen stories about those on TV.
So as the coterie appears to have, well, they don't know what they're going to have to do next, though. An Elysia visit is actually a good start.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where we're going to end Season 1, Episode 3 of Kansas City, A Domain Divided. They have gotten more info on what may be going on in the city, and they have some good theories, and they definitely feel they're on the right track with it's not as simple as the Sabbat versus the Cam. Someone is playing their own little game amongst all of it. And I'd like to thank my players, and I'd like to thank all the viewers, both here on Twitch and on YouTube. Thank you all for coming. Everyone gets 2 XP this session. Yay, 2 whole XP. Look, it's going to be slow, but there's a reason for that. We can't have what happened with Windy City, where, season 7, people were at like 200 XP, 250 XP. That gets broken too quick.
You're just asking for Diableries then.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Sabbat's fair game. Get hold of some and eat them.
Eat them.
Even if you don't gain a generation increase, you still get the XP part of it.
Yeah, you do. Still worth it.
Yeah. This will be one of the few games where there's
so
little
you trade of humanity for it.
Yeah, there's little political repercussions for eating a Sabbat member.
Yeah.
They are not protected.
They're not protected.
And they will eat you if given a choice.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little odd coming from me of all people, but our humanity is important, everyone. Maybe we shouldn't burn it willy-nilly.
Oh, I don't burn it willy-nilly, but I will Diablerize, okay?
So I do thank you all for coming. This is the first season. Next week, we will have Bo return to the table.
Yes.
Bo will be back in town, which means we'll be able to start actually. This is a lot of the groundwork to get the scene set, as it were. Expect some things to ramp up a bit. It'll be time for the players to get a little more active in the city directly. So I do thank everyone for coming. Yeah, well, choosing not to act.
I know.
Is a whole nother discussion about what it leads to.
She wants to smash some fucking Sabbat skulls for sure.
So as I said, I do thank you all for coming. Please join us on our Discord. If you're watching this on Twitch, there's a link. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find the link in our About section on YouTube. It tells you exactly where our Discord is, all of our social medias, those kind of things. If you want to catch back episodes, well, YouTube's the place to do it. That's where we keep all our back episodes. Twitch only keeps 60 days of back episodes. So if you want to catch Windy City, you want to catch Demon, Changeling, Werewolf, Bluebeard's Bride. So, Jesus, if you want to catch all our back shit, YouTube is the only place where we can store it all. You want to catch amazing content creators, check out our friends. One of them's right over here, Mischievous Red. She's doing things, and we'll go around and let people say what they're doing around the table once we get to that point. If you want to get some studio merch, pop over to our merch store. Make sure you sign in, because some of the things in there you have to be signed in to see because they're 18 and over.
Because some of them have curse words.
Yeah, especially if you want to Wish a Motherfucker Would Camp Counselor t-shirt.
Yes, which is awesome.
Because Wish a Motherfucker Would is a prestigious camp.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Camp Wish a Motherfucker Would.
That's right.
Counselor on the back.
Yep. You know, and sometimes you got to have red rockets for Gaia.
Red rockets for Gaia.
Yep. So check out a merch store. If you want to give something to the players, so you know, bits and donations, they go to the players, not to the studio. It's a way for you, the viewers, to give something to the players. If you want to contribute to the studio, subscribe on Twitch, pop over to a KoFi, hook us up on the KoFi. You can also, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon, the little bell, hit the bell so you know when we're going live. Going forward, the streams that myself or Relin run will be simulcast to both Twitch and YouTube. Tis will be doing Tis things, so I'm just letting people be aware of that. Damn, I think I did my part now. My wife can give the schedule.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us for episode 3 of our first season of Kansas City, A Domain Divided. Yeah. When's Kat going to be able to just hit some shit? But anyway, so coming up over the next week, on Sunday at noon, there will be our Windy City After Dark, our Chicago V5 Vampire Chronicle that we finished. Marathon, it's a rerun marathon, starting, like I said, at noon. It runs about 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. And basically we're picking up around mid-season 5 and probably going to see about 3 episodes, maybe 4, depending on length of that.
These later seasons, we've been averaging 3.
Yeah, averaging
because of the
3
lengths.
hours. Mm-hmm. So basically it'll run, until about 7 or 8. And then on Wednesday, we're back at 8 p.m. Eastern with Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages, A Glimpse of History. And y'all.
They killed the Inquisitor. Spoiler.
Yes, we did. And then Elena's baby brother got snatched by somebody with abyss mysticism. And they didn't even talk to her first. This has really pissed off Elena.
Didn't even leave Cap here.
No. Yeah. So needless to say, put on your yeahs, heads will roll. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing.
They going murdering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we are naughty vampire gods. But so join us Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern for that. And of course, we'll be back here on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern with session 4 of season 1 of Kansas City, A Domain Divided. And House will be joining us again.
Yep. You'll get Bo back. Bo will be finally allowed to leave Milwaukee. And boy, is he stepping into a shit show. Oh, spoilers, you haven't watched? I'm sorry, Emmy. I just spoiled it. I'm sorry. But you knew it was coming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give a synopsis.
Yeah. Wait, no, you knew they had to kill him eventually. Or get killed. One of the two. It's a Shanky game. Kill or be killed, people.
Kill or be killed.
So we're going to let people go around the table and say what they're doing. I know, other than throwing a kick-ass Halloween party, I know Callum's not doing anything else in the streams, but Callum did throw a kick-ass Halloween party that.
And thank you for the invite.
Thank you for the invite, because my wife and I went to that. We actually attended. Absolutely. We had a damn good time. Yeah, I give you that. Mad props for that.
Thank you.
What you got going on, Ree?
You can check us out over on Rerolls as we do our We Are Heroes campaign, where a bunch of teenagers get superpowers and try to save the world.
Awesome. Put your link in chat.
Yeah, put your link in chat.
Right.
And I'll even copy that over to the YouTube chat. Gwen, what you got going on there, Mischievous Red?
Yeah, so I've got two things really. First is I've started streaming again on my own channel, Mischievous Red, the same channel I talk with in chat. But we're doing creative things and try and figure out what I like to do. And I do that with a friend of mine. And then I'm also part of Huntsman's Hydra, which is more the website than the streaming, and that's kind of like our online retail space.
So, check out Red's stuff. She's good people.
Yes.
Thank you.
She's not a good person. She's good people.
Good people.
Thank you.
Because English, that's not my native tongue. My native tongue is Shanky.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know. And as always, when we end these streams, everybody, mental health, it's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. We take mental health seriously here at McStabber Studios. And we want you to reach out to those around you and make sure they're okay. Because we're going into the holiday season. And I can tell you, the holiday season's rough on a lot of people, especially people that have lost family or just for whatever reason can't be with their families in the holiday. So please check in on them, make sure they're okay. And if you suffer from mental health issues, I want to first tell you it's okay to not be okay. There's nothing wrong with admitting you're suffering. And I want you to reach out to your own support network. And I know a lot of people don't feel they have a support network. And because of that, in chat, the list of numbers you can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can get the help you need. And if you're not in the U.S. or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to findahelpline.com. And you can go there and find out what the support is in your country. That way you can get the help you need. Because, look, mental health is health. And you need to take care of yourself, physically and mentally. It's all tied together. You got to make sure both are good. And then I will let my wife give her portion of the outro before we end this episode.
One thing I will say, as someone who has lived in spite of and with mental illness my entire life, no one is an island unto themselves. All of us need help sometimes. And it is not weakness to get help. That is strength. Because you're doing what you need to do at the time that you need it. Also, as the mind goes, the body goes. And vice versa. Take care of your mind, take care of your body. Get your flu shot. It's that time of year. Flu still sends people to the ICU and to the hospital. Also, get your COVID booster, or if you've not been vaccinated, get fucking vaccinated. Unvaccinated people are at a staggeringly higher rate getting admitted and in the ICU on ventilators with the latest strains of COVID. So please, get vaccinated. And, make sure that you are registered to vote. Republican states have done a lot of purging of rolls this year. You want to make sure that your registration is still valid, especially if you are in a Republican-controlled state. And make sure you're registered to vote for any elections that are current in your states, and definitely for the 2024 election, because every member of the House of Representatives will be up for election. Incredibly important that everyone turns out for that.
And Ohio, vote yes for Proposition 1 and yes for Proposition 2 to get the weed.
Yeah.
There's no reason weed's illegal. There's none.
Yeah.
And personal note, please contact your House or your representatives in the House. Tell them to pass a fucking budget.
They passed 3 bills on it today.
Yeah, but actually tell them to pass a fucking budget. Because the government shutdown shit it's bullshit. We can't operate like that as a country. I don't care what party you are. The country cannot operate with constant shutdowns.
Yeah, we have like a week and a half.
Yeah. The country cannot operate this way. So please contact them. Tell them to do their fucking jobs. Pass the damn budget.
Mm-hmm.
Because this has got to stop. So, and as a storyteller of this chronicle, I'd like to thank my amazing players. You all are in for it. You're getting glimpses. This is going to be a fun ride. I thank you all for coming. I will see you next time. Good night, everybody.